You're a manifesting generator or a generator in your human design, and you notice that you've lost your spark. Maybe you're feeling stuck right now, or you're actually really burned out. Whatever it is, I got you, because in this video, I'm going to break down the root cause of what got you here. And then I'm going to give you a couple of tips so that you can turn around and get back into that juicy, exciting life force. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Human Design Portal, your safe space to start your deconditioning process so that you can align with the right people, chances, and opportunities in this lifetime. My name is Maika Gabriela, and I'm a human design reader, a deconditioning expert, and the founder of the Transformational Human Design Certification. And I have supported hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of burned out and stuck generators and manifesting generators to get back into their essence, connect shamelessly with their pleasure, and live an exciting and adventurous life. In this video, I'm going to break down the different ways that you can start applying change in your life to see lasting results. Let's dive deep. So the first point that will bring you into burnout comes from understanding that there is an inherent karmic experience for you as generators and manifesting generators that comes from the olden times, and that is all around people pleasing. You will notice that there is a big kind of like lesson in your life that goes around the subject of pleasing others, and especially of rejecting your own needs in order to please others. And obviously there is a psychological aspect, but there's also a karmic energetic aspect. And that is the aspect that in the olden times, when the manifestors were the kings and the conquerors, manifestors don't have consistent energy, but they were the most powerful energy types. And so what they would do is they would say, I'm going to conquer this land. And then they would use all of the beautiful, fantastic, consistent generator, manifesting generator energy and be like, you guys do the dirty work for me. And so it is really ingrained. It's kind of like a cellular generational trauma that is sitting in your energetic body that is needing to be released. And so people pleasing is a way of really coping with the fear of being abandoned. And so when we grow up in an environment in which we have to compromise or we have to take care of other people's needs in order to feel safe and loved, then it's a coping mechanism. It's something that you have adapted to feel safe. There is an aspect also of control. People pleasing can allow the people pleaser to gain a sense of control in thinking that they can manipulate and change the perspective of the other person for them. Or they can be so giving and so essential that they feel like when I overgive and I please and I do everything for them, then I won't be abandoned, then I won't be obsolete, then they are dependent on me, and therefore my subconscious fear of abandonment and not being appreciated or love being taken away won't happen, because I'm making myself so essential that nobody can continue their life without relying on me. The problem with this is, even though it's totally understandable, and I want you to always, to all of the things that are standing in your way, you know, like whatever it is that you're finding yourself with that is blocking you, that is standing between where you're now and where you want to get to, we can often find things that are like, just like obstacles that we're confronting. And we're like, oh man, I wish I didn't have this pattern, or oh man, I wish I wasn't the way that I am. But we are the way that we are. And so instead of trying to reject these parts of self, I really want you to integrate all of those aspects of yourselves and show love to these parts of yourselves that you have created because it was the only way that you felt safe and love and a sense of belonging. And as humans, that is our intrinsic basic need. We want to have the sense of belonging and feel loved. And so we will sacrifice and we will abandon parts of our self and our soul and our needs in order to attain that. Our subconscious will always choose the lesser evil. And so please have compassion to the people-pleasing tendencies that you might find in yourself. And what we want to do is we want to slowly accustom and reprogram your subconscious mind to understand that it's safe and okay for you to actually follow what you want to do and what you're excited to do, so that you can avoid a burnout in the future. And this leads me to part 2, which is compromising your pleasure, your desire for others. And why is this happening? This is because there is intrinsically this deep knowledge that your energy is here to support other people, because you have a defined sacral energy, because you have a magnetic aura, because you know that when you're in a room and you're excited about things, you're kind of like the light to the mosquitoes. Like everybody loves being around you because that's your energy. You inject life force, you inject creativity, you inject passion into other people when they meet you. And so because you know that you're here to energetically support others, because you will provide and you have that energetic dominance in the sacral center, for those that don't have a defined sacral center, like me as a projector, for example, you know that you're here to serve others. The problem is that there's this deep belief that in order to serve others, you need to sacrifice yourself. And nothing could be further from the truth. The way that I want you to envision yourself is that you are a fountain, and that the water pressure in this fountain can only take its strength and its pressure the more you do the things that you love. Instead of believing that you can't do what you want to do to support the people individually in your life, like I can't do what I want because my partner, I can't do what I want because of my work, they want this, I can't do what I want because, my friends, my work, my family, whatever it is. I want you to reframe that and really understand that only when you tap into that connection with your sacral center, when you tap into the things that bring you joy, that bring you energy, that bring you lightness, that bring you excitement, that's when you're in your energetic authenticity. Only when you're in your energetic authenticity will you be able to fuel your magnetic aura. And only when you fuel your magnetic aura, you can actually be contagious with that uplifting, warm energy that you carry. And so it is imperative that you understand that instead of making yourself small for people individually, you have to stand strong within your own pleasure, your own joy and excitement. And then this water pressure can come to the top of the fountain, and then it can fall onto the people in your life. And like that is how you're going to actually support them in alignment with yourself and for them from the most authentic, grounded and giving place. This is where you're bountiful. If you are trying to castrate your own desires and you're trying to avoid doing what you want to please others, that is a draining energy. There will come a point where you will end up in a burnout. When you focus on your own desires and your own pleasure, that's when you're generating more and more energy, okay? And I know that this can be daunting because it's scary to think I'm allowed to do just what I want to do. That sounds crazy. And of course, we live with other people and there's certain compromises that we might have to make. But it's important that you listen to your body, to that visceral yes and no that your sacral is symbolizing to you, when the things are important. So maybe you have a very intense yes for something in your sacral. Don't compromise. Or maybe you have a very, very full body no. Don't compromise that. If you're lukewarm or it's something that's not important, like what kind of movie you're going to watch, or if you want, salty or sweet popcorn, those things might be things that aren't that impactful and that you can compromise on, okay? But make sure that the big things in your life, you really trust that you're in your right to listen to what your body's telling you, and that is safe for you. And so it's completely normal to feel shame, to feel guilty, to feel unworthy of being able to do the things that you actually want to do. And that comes from really understanding that when we are born, our soul comes into this lifetime being completely whole. And we learn from a very young age that in order to be accepted and loved, we have to reject a part of our whole authentic self. And the moment that we reject a part of our whole authentic self, that's when that emptiness inside starts showing up. And so because our parents, or we as parents, often don't recognize how strong we as children or our children are already connected with their internal compass that is driving them to their purpose, we often don't recognize that we're actually not here to tell our children what to do. We're actually just here to create a safe space for them to develop the right tools to connect with their own guiding system, right? And so what happens is that we learn from a very young age, children see black and white. They love me or they don't love me. Anytime we get negative feedback, anytime we express our desires and these desires are triggering our caretakers, our environment, or are not, appropriate for, the conditions that we've been born into, we actually feel shame. We feel like we need to reject and abandon our needs in order to feel safe and loved. And this is a very absolute natural process of surviving. And so this is something that we call education, because we get taught again and again and again that our need is not acceptable and that our need is triggering others, and that when we express our need, the love gets taken away from us. And then also the contrary happens. When we start compromising, when we start shutting up about the things that we want, that's where we get love and acceptance. And so this is what builds our character, and we become adults that don't know what to study, are afraid to, express our needs, will self-abandon, and all of these things will bring your sacral center into a burnout, because the only way that you can fuel your energy is by doing the things that you love, by engaging in the things that you're passionate about. And so it is really important to just have empathy for that part of yourself, but also deeply connect to the truth within you that you are absolutely allowed to do the things that you enjoy. And I would go even so far to say that the only way that you're going to gain success and happiness and health and a beautiful relationship and all of the things that your soul desires is when you double down and you focus on the thing that excites you. Because when you start focusing on the things that brings you joy, that excites you, that gives you energy, that's when your aura becomes, again, fueled. When your aura is fueled, it's magnetic, it's like a hurricane, it's pulling things in. And that is how you will pull in the right partner, the right business opportunity, the chances, the money, whatever it is that you're craving will come once you focus on your joy. You might think that it will come if you please enough other people that they will kind of please you back. But that's not how your energetic authenticity works. Your energetic authenticity works through really engaging in, exploring your desire and your joy and your excitement. And that's what makes you magnetic. And that's what will bring in the right things that you have come to experience in this lifetime. Okay, so I hope that until now you've gained some clarity of what were these subconscious steps that have brought you into a burnout. And I just want to highlight that every time that we hit rock bottom, every time that we're in a burnout, every time that our body is telling us that we don't have energy, we're lacking energy, my favorite way of looking at this is that I really believe that energy is showing us the way. So when you as a manifesting generator and a generator, you're lacking energy, it's because you're doing something you don't want to do, and that means you should not be doing it. And I know that this is like a sensitive subject, because I truly believe that there's a lot of things for which we have to show up again and again, even if we don't feel like doing them. But there's something else that is holding yourself accountable for yourself, your team, other people, and showing up as your best version of self. And then there's something that's going against your internal deep knowing and life path compass, which is your sacral center. Okay? And so just so that we understand, I truly believe that the universe is constantly conspiring with you for you to get on track to your purpose. The reason you're burned out is because you're doing stuff and you're moving into a direction that is not aligned with your gifts and your true essence. And sometimes we can get so caught up in our head of who we think we need to be, of how we think we need to show up in order to be loved and accepted, that the moment that, that doesn't happen, we continue to push, we continue to abandon our needs, we continue to move into that direction because we're not able to trust and see that there's a better way and a more aligned path for us. And maybe that life doesn't even have, a tiny bit of sense in our mind. Like, I never in my life would have thought that I would have a human design business. Never, ever, ever, ever in my life, okay? But the life that I'm living as a human design reader and the kind of business that I've built for myself is a million times better, more aligned, and fills me with excitement, joy, and gratefulness than the life that I thought that I had to live that was making me miserable. And so I would have never thought that this was going to be my pivot, but it's been the most expansive. It was very painful to let go of my old life. I would have to say that was one of the most painfulest things that I've ever been through, because I had this image, I had this idea, I thought this was the only way I was going to be loved, and if I don't achieve this, then I will never feel loved. And once I let go of that and just started loving myself and started to take care of myself and just honored my own curiosity and removed the shame that I was able to remove thanks to understanding myself through human design, this whole other portal opened. And so now I want to give you 2 tangible ways to start turning around your energetic frequency, to start moving out of burnout or even out of stuckness. Let's get into it. So the reason that you feel stuck as a generator is because you have compromised too much. You are not doing the things that you're excited about. You are saying yes to everybody. You're constantly running around and doing things you're not excited about doing just to get shit done. And oftentimes that's what we got to do to pay the bills, okay? But this is just for you to understand why you're in a burnout. If you're a generator, you're gonna feel frustrated and stuck because your sacral center is so clogged. If it can't feed your magnetic aura, you're not pulling in the right people, chances, and opportunities, and therefore it's forcing you to move out of your energetic authenticity, and you might find yourself trying to force things or absolutely disengaging with life and not having any energy at all, because you haven't connected to that energetic understanding of how this symbiosis works of connecting to your sacral center and doing the things that you love in order to attract the things that you love. Okay? And so you're going to feel stuck because there is no space, there is no fuel, there's no energy in your aura. As a manifesting generator, there's two reasons you might feel stuck and burned out. So the first reason is going to be that you're feeling frustrated because you're just doing, and you're in generator mode, and you can completely have disempowered your defined throat to say what you want and go after what you want. Or it's the opposite. You have completely negated your sacral center, your generator energy, because maybe you're compromising too much and you're always doing everything for everybody, that you're just like, using all of this bountiful energy and still feel stuck in the same place that you were like last year or always. And so you're moving out of that masculine energy, out of your throat, out of initiating, but because you don't have space in your sacral center to attract the right people, that energy goes to waste because the people that you're talking to are not aligned with you, and you've completely forgotten to use the collaboration of the universe to support you on the path to your purpose. So the first thing to do for generators and manifesting generators is to actually pause. If you're not burned out and you don't have energy, if you're feeling stuck, the first thing is to pause. If you are already in a burnout, or if you're feeling stuck, it is really all about just taking a moment to assess. Okay, this is what I mean by pause. Take a moment, no matter if you're stuck, drained, burnout, whatever it is, take a moment to assess your sacral center and your life, and have a look at how many things you're doing that you actually absolutely don't want to do. And then I want you to slowly use conscious communication and delegation to stop doing the shit you don't want to do. And I know a lot of times we're in positions where we might not be able to afford the support we need to stop doing things that we want. But for that, there's always this little tiny trick, which is, ladies and gentlemen, putting an intention. You can put an intention, and I'm promising you, intention move mountains. You can put up an intention. That intention might sound something like, universe, you and I know that I'm destined for greater things. You and I know that I will be of more service to the highest intentions of God, the creator and universe, if I wouldn't be using my energy for the shit I don't want to do. And I could be using my energy for the stuff that I'm great at, that I'm inspiring at, that I love and I'm excited about. Please show me the way to be able to let go of the stuff I don't want to do, so that I can double down and focus and give more of that thing that I'm great at doing. Okay? So, conscious communication, using a very, empowering, kind, empathetic way of communicating your needs with the people in your life, and then really learning to set boundaries and understanding that boundaries are not something negative towards other people. Boundaries is actually your capacity to show other people how to love you best. The second tip that I have for you to start really, in a very tangible way, move out of stuckness, resistance, burnout, frustration, and into flow, excitement, energy, chi, juiciness, adventure, is to start focusing and doubling down on the things that you love doing. There's a reason you love doing what you love doing. And maybe you have even forgotten, like some of us, used to love drawing or painting or singing or dancing, it doesn't matter. Maybe somebody told you like, that's no way to make money, you shouldn't waste your time, or you don't have talent, you're not good. These things are not important for you to be excellent. You don't have to be the best drawer in the world for you to find pleasure drawing. I love drawing. Am I good at it? Not specifically. No, I don't think so. Somebody would be like, oh, it's okay, but I'm definitely not to what I think is beautiful. but still I have joy drawing and painting. And so I continuously just nurture that, not for the result, but how I feel while I'm doing it. It allows me to be absorbed. It allows me to have a kind of meditation. It allows me to feel like, okay, this is something that I'm just like engaging in, and it's bringing me pleasure, and it's bringing me like self-expression, right? And so I want you to really tap into those things that you used to love doing that you maybe stopped doing because it was a waste of time, or you were not good enough, or whatever the story is. And I want you to connect how that made you feel. And we want to really engage with that sense and that feeling. I want you to go and look for hobbies. I want you to tap into things where you can nourish your time in a way that brings back that energy, that brings back that joy, that brings back that excitement. That is how you will fuel all of that sacral center, so that you can again like feed that aura and attract the right people and opportunities in your way. So the first thing we have to do is look at the compromises that we have in this, sacral center that is packed with things that are draining us. Then we remove these overcompensations and all of the stuckness in our sacral center by using conscious communication and delegating. Okay, we say no to things. We stop doing the shit we don't want to do. We start clearing out that sacral center, and then we're nourishing it back with things that we're excited about. And maybe there are things we can't change around that fast. Maybe we're stuck in a job because we need to pay bills and we have to, like kids to feed. That's okay. Set an intention. Just set an intention. Every day you can set an intention. Like, listen, this is not it. Give me a sign. Help me out. I need to move out of this. I know that I'm destined for other, better, bigger, beautiful, juicier things. Okay? And this is how you're going to slowly be able to move out of burnout, stuckness, and frustration to really get back to the essence of the joy that you carry with it. I hope you found some value in this video. If something resonates, if you have questions, if you want to let me know what other things you want me to talk about, please leave a comment below so that I can read you and answer you. I always love hearing from you. If you feel like this content has something that could support anybody in your life, feel free to share it. Tag me in stories. It means the world to me to see that you're getting some value out of me just talking into this camera by myself. Please subscribe to the channel. Growing this channel means so much to me and helps me spread the human design information and be able to support more people and just continue to invest and grow so that I can be of bigger service to you. Please, just support this video in any way and form that you can. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. And remember, I don't care what anybody says. I love you.